all good. It's a throwback Thursday on a Friday. It's a flashback Friday. Classic Disney Channel.
Flashback Friday.
Classic Disney. Before Disney. I don't know. I don't even know what was before.
I feel
That was definitely before our time, but it's all good.
Yeah, you know nothing about that one. It's a classic. You gotta watch Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
Yeah,
I will now.
It's definitely good. All right.
Throwback Thursday.
So we are live. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today for Diversity and the Feminine Mystique. My name is Danica Roberts, and I'm an executive admin with Guitar Gabby and the TxLips. And as I said, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a live stream partnership between Guitar Gabby and the TxLips and Guitar Girl magazine. So thank you everyone for participating today. Today we have with us 4 panelists, as well as an awesome host. And I'll go ahead and pass it off to 𝘿𝙖𝙮𝙧𝙚𝙖𝙢𝙨, who is our host for today.
Hey, what's pop, what's shake, what's good, what's great? Y'all know what it is. I am your girl, 𝘿𝙖𝙮𝙧𝙚. I will be leading this wonderful discussion between some of the most wonderful individuals that we have the pleasure of getting to know this evening. I guess we will start at the top, or what is my top left. Julia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So excited to be here. My name is Julia. I'm 19 years old. I've been playing guitar for about 9 years now. Currently I'm in LA, but I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey, New York area. I'm actually in LA because I'm studying music at University of Southern California in the pop music program. And in 2019, I gave a TED talk about female inclusion in the guitar world and, women playing guitar and how they're, claiming their seat at the table. And so I'm super excited to be having this discussion with you all today. And a couple of my musical influences I'll just throw out there are Prince, Joan Jett, who I have on my shirt right now. Had to break this out.
I love Joan Jett. Let's get it.
And so many others. So yeah, I'm super excited to talk to y'all today.
Thank you so much for making time for us. Really excited to get to know more about you and really feel your vibe about all of the different topics that we'll be discussing today. I'm going to keep it moving clockwise, excluding myself, and move over to my daydreams. What's shaking?
Hey everyone. We're my daydreams and we're 16-year-old twins from Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, we're in our last year of high school right now, but we plan on going to studying audio engineering when we leave. Yeah, some of our influences are 21 Pilots, My Chemical Romance, Bring Me the Horizon. So like Gwen Stefani, no doubt.
Love Gwen.
We love Gwen Stefani, and yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of everything. And
Super
yeah.
dope.
Thank you.
Thank you. What time is it where you are?
It is 9:08 a.m.
Oh, so you're in the future. You were in Saturday. It's Saturday.
We're on the 19th.
Well, I always say that, yeah, when it comes down to time zones, that's like the real time traveling. So
Yeah.
you guys are in the future right now.
We're in the future, guys.
Let's get it. Keep it moving. Gonna come back round to Madam Fraankie.
How are you? What's going on? I'm doing good. Happy to be here. As she said, I'm Madam Fraankie, musician, guitarist, producer. We're doing our favorites, Prince, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, and I do a video every Monday. A guitar loop, just playing jams to just play jams so that I don't freak out about, is this perfect or not? So,
where are you?
Memphis, Tennessee, the greatest city in the world.
Tennessee, okay. You're in the thick of it. I know you got some blues licks in you.
Yeah, a little something.
I know it. Well, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So I'm going to kick it off with you since you were the last one that I got to, get an introduction from. What does being a woman mean to you?
So for me, because I guess in society show up as a traditional woman, to me, it's showing up as my full self, the way I move, walk, talk, anything that I do. And claiming that as the woman that I identify as, to show the world that this is a version of a woman. And when patriarchy gets it together, and I guess they get to figure it out, but this is what a woman is.
I love it. Gonna rotate back around counterclockwise this time. Yes, my daydreams. what does being a woman mean to you? Because it's very awesome. I'm always excited when we get to have such a diverse perspective. One of the things that the team does and Gabby does is, they curate such a diverse group of individuals and gives us such a broad scope of, different points of view and different thought processes that can be experienced. My cat just wanted to join. But yeah, that can be experienced throughout the scope of our existence, or our collective existence and our individual existence. So with you all being 16-year-olds on the bottom hemisphere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other side of the world, what does it mean to be a woman to you right now? Because you guys are in a completely different, like I said, you're in the future. I said that I was being funny. I'm a rapper, so I was saying that literally you are the future in the sense of tomorrow is your time zone, but also being 16-year-olds riding this new wave of technology, riding this new wave of creativity, like what does it mean to you all to be a woman?
We feel that being a woman cannot be confined in certain words, because like Fraankie said, being a woman is everything, down to what you're doing, or just everything. I think it's to be powerful, independent, and talented, and yeah, being a woman means so many different things. I can't constrict it to a couple sentences. So yeah.
That's very poignant. It's very true to what it means to be a woman. You can't confine it to a couple of sentences. It is so broad and so vast and all encompassing. Julia, how do you feel? What does it mean to you to be a woman? I love your background, by the way. Are those album covers?
Yeah, I'm actually in my super embarrassingly messy dorm room. So I found this amazing background with a bunch of my favorite albums. So I was like, fits the vibe.
It's super dope. It definitely does.
Yeah, I had to have, Hendrix right there. So, when I was honestly a couple hours before this trying to figure out a good answer to this question, because it's so broad. It's hard to think of one thing to say, but I have to agree with you guys. It's there's no way to narrow down one answer. What does it mean to be a woman? What does it feel like to be a woman? But for me, I feel the same way. It's owning what I'm doing, feeling grounded, and being strong, and however I present myself, exactly the way you walk, talk, especially with guitar, how you play, how you say what you want to, how you feel through your music. It's kind of wearing your heart on your sleeve in the most powerful and dignified way that you possibly can. And I think for a lot of us, it's through music. It is for me.
I can definitely agree. I want to piggyback off of that because you said you find that you express it through guitar. One of the things I feel, I'm a very rebellious woman. And I think if we haven't all seen this quote, I'll be the one to share it. They say, well-behaved women seldom make changes or seldom make history. And it's always the ones who, I have a song that I'm working on right now. It's called Rowdy, because I'm a little bit rowdy. And I don't give a who was around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And oftentimes that is so disturbing to a lot of people, and life. I teach, I just came from teaching a class. I teach hip hop history with Soul Food Cypher, bridging the gap between music and language arts in Atlanta public schools. And one of the things I was teaching the kids earlier today was I was teaching them about how life is about attention, right? Attention is very much a currency. We all know that now. We're on social media. Attention is the currency. Advertisers want you to pay attention to their advertisements. All of these things, people want you to pay attention to them. That's why you use the phrase, pay attention. You don't donate attention, you pay that. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I was telling my kids, I said, whatever you pay attention to the most is going to naturally grow. You pay attention to yourself, you pay attention to negative things, you pay anything, whatever you dedicate your time and energy to, whatever you pay attention to grows. And I find that as women, when we pay attention to ourselves, it's threatening to people. It's threatening to the hierarchy, because throughout life, they want you to pay less and less attention to yourself and more attention to the things that distract you so that you can become the shape that they need you to be to fit in this design of what that they have for us. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you said with guitar, you find yourself, that's how you express. And I know myself through music as well, because I'm often told I'm too loud, I'm too this, I'm too that. I'm a lot, you know, but music is the one place where you're supposed to be able to really just be, and art in general is supposed to be that space. I wanted to ask you, you know, we said Joan Jett. I like Joan Jett because when I look at Joan Jett, the I Love Rock and Roll video, that's one of the things I always try to embody, in a sense of not giving a care, you know what I'm saying? Not caring at all about what anyone has to say. And I felt like she really embodied that. Who are some other guitarists that you find yourself, I'm going to keep with you, Julie, and then I'm going to cycle around. Who are some other guitarists that you really feel have helped you influence, who have influenced you and really just help you to break through and shake off anything that society is projected on you?
I think, well, Joan Jett is such a good example because she's just a boss. Like, that video is amazing. I Love Rock and Roll, where she's like in the leather jacket and just completely defying all the, you know, stereotypes and what she was kind of trying to be conform into being like as a female guitarist. I love like the Runaways documentary where they kind of talk about how she was asked to try classical guitar first, and she was like, I want to rock, I want to play like loud and with distortion, and like I love that because she's just like breaking the bounds of that. Another artist who does the same thing, like Leta Ford from the Runaways.
Oh, I like Leta. I know Leta Ford.
They're just the best. Like, I'm obsessed with the Runaways. I love their whole, you know, the movement they created as like first female rock group. Insane. Like, they completely changed the game for women playing loud, playing rock music, not caring. I mean, of course they got a ton of backlash and, you know, didn't end up surviving in the end, you know, but their legacy is incredible. And they've influenced so many artists that I love, like Miley Cyrus, who's like, I grew up with her. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely started playing guitar because I was obsessed with Hannah Montana. So I
There's
definitely
no shame. Oh, that's the Disney wave. Y'all call it, not the zoom, zoom, zoom wave. You call it the Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds. I love it. Anyway.
She's not on my wall, but if this were my wall, I would put Hannah everywhere.
There's no shame. Hannah Montana is to you all what Spice Girls was to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Girls.
You know what I'm saying? Every boy and every girl. Anyway, I really enjoy that. I wanted to not piggyback, but I want to swerve.
Sure.
Madam Fraankie.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel, you know, about, you know, who are some people that really influence you in your style of playing guitar? How would you describe your style? Like your name in general, why did you choose that name and what does it mean to you? And, you know, tell me who you are. Give me more, girl. Give me a little bit more about you, girl.
Okay, so the scoop on the name is actually, it came to be because of, I was originally starting to do Twitch, like video game streaming. And I wanted when folks entered the room to recognize me immediately as a woman, like honorably, but also like really strong, like names. So I spent some time with it and it became, because it was Fraankie at first. I was like, well, I want something that on the front end that like, oh, okay, Madam Fraankie. Like, you
it's a contradiction. It's dope.
Yeah, it's like they work together to, you know, to immediately kind of embody what I got going on. So that's where that came from. And in terms of like folks who inspire me, it's not always, maybe less often, like guitar players, but like Prince, Erykah Badu, like David Bowie, like people, it's more like their spirit, like their energy that they got going on that inspire me and like try to implement that in the guitar playing.
No, I totally agree. What you said is so true. It's all about the vibe. I'm all about the vibe. It keeps things alive, you know, and those are the things that like those people that you mentioned, I totally love Badu, love Bowie, love Bowie. And just like you said, as far as that spirit and energy that those people, I feel like even though, and Prince, I'm sorry, Father, forgive me. Yes. And Prince, most definitely. You know what I mean? Like all of those people you mentioned, they may seem like they're so the average person, they may seem like they were, you know, very different, but all of them, if you look at them at the core of them, there's a thread that all of those, that ties all of those artists together. And it's very much, you know, eclectic, doing them individuals. It's something you don't find very often. You know, as the music industry has become more industrious, it's been more, you know, they want to be promoting people that have already kind of been a proven success. So they stray away from individualism. But with the internet, that's kind of coming back because things can go viral and individuals have that voice again. So that's pretty dope. I want to ask you about, do you feel like your environment has influenced you at all as far as like being in Tennessee is concerned?
For sure. The folks that I'm surrounded by, like the way that Memphis like flows, and it's something special here. Like the way that you interact with the musicians here, like the way we work and move and like create and come up with stuff, like absolutely. It's even if it's not that, 'cause I'm not like a blues player, but like the way my wheels turn, I think a lot of that has been the folks that I interact with who are from the city.
Oh no, it's very important because I had this DVD one time. It was a Led Zeppelin DVD. I was in a very bad car accident some years ago, and when I was healing, my mom just bought me all of the things that I liked, so that I couldn't do anything, so I had to sit in the house, and I was watching this Led Zeppelin DVD, and Robert Plant was speaking. It was a concert, and he was speaking about the love of Southern Black music and the influence that Southern Black music had on them as rockers. You know what I mean? And he went on to perform this song, and you are we're going to talk about the king. That's the king, figuratively and literally, as some people would describe him, the king of taking Black music and profiting off of it. Elvis is from Memphis, isn't he? And so there's a lot of flavor in Memphis. There had to be a lot of flavor to give him that, to give him the momentum to take over the world as he did. You know what I mean? So we all know that Hound Dog and a lot of this early material was Black music that didn't get that credit, but he was the face of it. So I know that you have a lot of rich energy in Memphis, just so much rock and roll history, country history, just so much blues. And it's just really dope. So I really know that you can take that and really implement it in so many different ways. Really excited to see what you do moving forward, really, truly. My daydreams. I asked Madam Fraankie about her name. Give me some insight on you all's name, because that's pretty dope, because I don't know if you've ever read For Agreements, but reality is a dream. You know what I mean? And everybody's, I tell people all the time, let me row my boat merrily up my stream. You know what I'm saying? Because life is but a dream. So give us some insight into that.
So we were actually at school when we Kistan was doing a sketch of some bear daydreaming, and we were like, oh, my daydreams. We just like at school, it wasn't what we were learning, wasn't what we wanted to do. And like we find that isn't what we want to do. And we find that a lot of the time at school, the things that we learn, it's just like completely different. And we're just daydreaming about a day where like we can do music as a career and we can do all of these things and be who we want to be. And it's just about escaping reality and just all of those things. So that's how we got our name.
Yeah, that's super dope, because as I'm reading that book, and there's some books you read and you want to read them again because the premises that are covered, sometimes you just need to reiterate them. And life is a dream, and that's so awesome, because whatever I also, it's so crazy how, not crazy, it's so divine how things align and come back around. I was literally telling my students this earlier. I said, words are the one things that we can't see immediately, but eventually you see them. You know what I'm saying? Everything you speak, you don't see it immediately. It seems it's intangible, but then but eventually, if you speak it and you pay attention to the things that you speak and you work those words become things. The reality becomes real. So that daydream that you know what I'm saying? Those things that you seek, those things that you speak shall be. You know what I mean? They will definitely be very soon, very, very soon. And there ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's why they want you distracted. You know what I'm saying? Whoever they is, the magical they, but that's why they want you distracted, because whatever you pay attention to, you create. And now the popular word is manifest, but that word is a little played out for me. I'm kind of tired of it. I need us to get a thesaurus. I need a thesaurus or something, because I need people to stop using manifest. It's played out, okay? But whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? You bring it to fruition. You understand? Whatever it is. So I think that's super dope. You said Gwen Stefani is one of your influences. You also said, what were a few others that you mentioned?
We mentioned the 21 Pilots.
21 Pilots.
My Chemical Romance.
Bring Me
and
the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon. Oh,
Maybe.
Cigarettes
Cigarettes
After
After
Sex.
Sex.
Also such a big one too.
That's super dope. I'm not too savvy with them, so I can't even fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, well, because around that era of like, for me, when that stuff started popping, I wasn't paying too much attention to, I don't know. When all of those newer age artists started popping up, I went back into the past. I went deeper into the past of like BB King and Led Zeppelin and T-Rex and Queen and things like that. Like I wanted to understand. I do that a lot with hip hop too. Like I love current things, but I always want to know the originators, because more often than not, the current people are imitating the originator in some way, shape, or form. So it's almost like, I don't know if you'll know if you ever made a copy. When you make a copy of a copy, you can't really see it very well. Copies of copies don't last. And that's like literally like you get a physical copy of something and you copy it and then you try and copy it again. Doesn't work. You got to make a hard copy of the original. So that's what I like to do. I like to go back in with the original because I don't want to copy you who's copying this person. I want to go, if I am going to copy somebody, let it be the potent, you know what I mean? The most.
Let it be the roots.
Yeah, let it be that. So I'm not too savvy with those people. So I'm not going to clown them and I'm not going to pretend to know. But what about their style? What about their style sticks out for you? You know, what do you dig about those individuals, or what have you taken from them and, you know, added to your own style, or how has it affected your style and shaped your style?
I feel like all the artists we listen to, like, oh, we forgot to mention Coldplay. Coldplay.
Oh, I like Coldplay.
I feel like their style is so like representative of like the human like condition, and like no matter like what the lyrics are, the instruments always tell a story. And 21 Pilots specifically, Tyler Joseph, the lead singer, goes into like reggae or like rock into like rap, and he mixes like so much like different like genres together to make his own like thing. So he's like his own like his own like, what do you call it?
His own genre.
His own genre. You can't really define him. That's why 21 Pilots is so influential on us, because we don't want to be a copy, like you were saying, you know? Like you gotta be like the real thing if you want to, like, if our music is so like eclectic, is that the word? Eclectic.
Yeah, that's it.
And we want to be like, we don't want to be a copy. And I think that's what we take away from all these people, is that when they're around on stage, they like do whatever they want, and like, because it's like their music. And that's why I think we added the word "my" in front of Daydreams, because it's us. It's like ours. It's like no one else's. It's what we want people to see. Yes.
That's so dope. You know, as I speak to you, I want to ask you about another pair of famous twins. And of course, you have to add their brother, but the Bee Gees. How much did the Bee Gees influence you all? Because the Bee Gees are very much Australian, and they're like the biggest, that I can say, musical act, aside from like Natalie Imbruglia and who else? I used to love Natalie Imbruglia. I don't know how big. You said what?
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue. I didn't know she was Australian. Out of my head. Now it's gonna be in my head. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a vibe. But did you ever listen to the Bee Gees music at all, or have you ever like experienced any of their music?
Surprisingly, we don't really listen to them, but in Australia, specifically like where we are from, Brisbane, there's these two twins called the Veronicas, and they're like a really big thing in Australia, and they really pushed us to like embrace being twins, because I feel like a lot of our life we've really struggled with that like shared identity. But like now we're like, okay, yeah. We're like, yeah, we're twins.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to own it. Twins are like the dopest thing. Like I mean, in general, like you're the only, like you're natural clones of one another, but at the same time, it's like you get to share your life with someone else to an extent. You know, like you were born with a homie, like instantly.
Roommates. Sounds, you know, like saying that we're roommates.
Yeah, for real. Like
yeah, sorry, I cut you off, but
no.
literally everyone has been saying that like we always are with each other. Like you never see us like me walking alone, or like you always see us together walking, or like we share all the same classes together. And so yeah, I thought we'd like to embrace that. Also, coming back to that Bee Gees thing, I've heard like a couple songs. It really shows our age. Eh?
No, well, here's the thing. I mean, the thing about me is like, I mean, I wasn't born when the Bee Gees were popping, but my mom and I'm the kind of person that I am a historian. I love history. I love to know the origins of things. I sit and I read the dictionary when I'm bored because I want to know the origin of words and where we're going. Because as we move forward, I don't know if you've ever read the book 1984, but as we continue to move forward, they are very much taking away things and dumbing it down, watering things down. Things have become less. You know what is so funny? What does the word concentrate mean? It also means to think, and it means to be potent. And as we move forward, there's less concentration. People are concentrating less on a lot of things, and things are a lot more watered down and distorted. And it's just one of those things for me where I love the Bee Gees because when I was a kid, my mom was a kid in the 70s, you know what I mean? So I would go back and I was an only child for a long time. So I wanted to be able to have conversations. My grandmother was, born in the 40s. So I wanted to know things. So I would go back and watch things and listen. So I wanted to be able to have conversations about the things that they knew, because as kids, parents don't really pay too much attention to what you're doing. I mean, they do a little bit, but if you want to find common ground, sometimes you got to find what they are interested in. So I spend a lot. My mom loves like Saturday Night Fever and Grease and all of those different things. So I had a lot of experience with the Bee Gees just because she loves the Bee Gees. And I mean, they were just a very influential group to music and pop culture as a whole. They're like, even now, like you might not realize that there's so many things. I don't know how advertisements are, over there, but there's so many different things, songs and, like commercial themes that, people take from old movies and, they present them as new to people who don't know, but it's just like, yo, they just took this from this and repackaged it, But anywho, that's enough about that. If you ever had some time, really take some time and experience, because they have some really dope grooves. Like, yeah, they're very much like 70s disco music, but they have very dope harmonies, super dope harmonies, like amazing. Like you can get lost listening to them. At least I do anyway. So anywho, I want to ask you this. I'm going to take it back to Julia because you've just been chilling in the cut like a bandage, just chilling and just saying much. I'm going to bring it back to you. How do you feel about being a female identifying artist in the music industry?
Honestly, I feel like frustrated and hopeful because there's so many feelings about it. I think there's obviously the frustration of, everything that I'm sure you all understand of like feeling lesser than or like an outlier in a male dominated field. It's definitely it can be uncomfortable and frustrating, and there can be a lot of injustice sometimes, but at the same time I'm very hopeful because it feels like now at least is like such a good time to be a woman in the music industry, or a person who identifies as a woman in the music industry, because so many artists, so many organizations and industries are kind of embracing different sounds, people's different experiences, and really calling in lots of different types of people to share their voice and their sound. And I'm seeing like I've been to a couple shows since I've been in LA. I've only been here for a couple months, and I've been lucky enough to see a bunch of concerts, and I've seen so many amazing all-female bands, or like been able to connect with so many other female identifying artists. And it's like, it's very accepted, at least where especially in LA or just in the greater scheme of music industry. It feels like of course, there's always going to be people who have an issue with that, or, something to say. But there's definitely a greater push to include everyone and to hear this perspective from female identifying artists. And I think that's only getting better. It's only getting to be, raising those voices, and it's very exciting. I think also seeing like tons of guitar brands like now sponsoring tons of female artists it's really inspiring and cool.
I mean, I think that's so dope. I'm very happy for you in that experience. I want to catch up with you on what it's like studying popular music and performance. Like how is that for you? Because I I have a Master of Science in Entertainment Business, and then I have a BFA in Media Production. So I know what it's like to go to school for music. It just changes your entire thought process on everything. I want to know what it's like for you, especially in this time. And you have such a unique, all of you young people have such a wonderful perspective right now. And you don't have the constraints that young OG like me had coming up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I can only get to the studio. Oh, if I can only get my song on the radio. Oh, like, no, none of those things matter anymore. Like, that was literally and I've had to constantly, break my thought process and reconfigure, thought process and reconfigure, because the things that, like, it's been a landscape that has been constantly shifting for me as a 30 plus person. But you all, as young individuals and young adults, you all have the ability to really grab the world by the proverbial balls and really make something shake, because you don't have any of those things. It's really yours for the taking. You know what I mean? So I want to know, like, what is that like studying, and how has that helped you to elevate? Because you've moved from, you said Jersey, right? So
Yeah.
not only have you gone to another side of the country, oh, you just can't leave well enough alone. All right. So not only have you gone to another side of the country, and now you're experiencing a completely different, climate. You're experiencing a different climate in every sense of the word, whether it's weather, mentality, now you've been cast into a world where there's several or tons of like-minded individuals. Like, how has that been for you?
Oh my God, that's a great question. It's like, first of all, it's insane, like, just completely shifting to a whole other life, like environment wise, playing wise. I think one thing, studying music it's really different than just like taking private lessons or whatever, doing your own thing, and then getting to a school where you like have to study it like academics. It's kind of wild. I mean, I will say, I think there's one other female identifying guitar player in my program, not in my class. I'm the only one in my class, which is a little interesting. I mean, I've always been the only girl in any musical or guitar setting ever in the like 10 or 9 years I've been playing. And I think like there is this idea of like, at least I used to feel this way. I always felt like there was a competition. And on some level there is, because definitely, guys can get intimidated when there's a female player who like is very kind of dominant, or like, I guess comes in and kind of outplays them or whatever. And I think that's the one thing that I've learned the most, is that it's not about like competition or like weird vibes with people. Like, as musicians, the best thing to do is like focus on the music and like connect with other people as musicians. And all the things that I felt like in musical settings where I felt people don't take me seriously or don't actually think that I know what I'm talking about, don't think I'm a good player before they even hear me play, is like, I mean, it's all, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure we all know that.
It's all the time. I'm just like, before I even pick up a guitar, they're like, you know how to tune this? And I'm like, I've been doing this for
I've had people
10 years.
ask me as I walk down the street carrying my guitar case, oh, can you really play that thing?
Yep. Yeah.
No, just for fun.
I'm just walking around. This is decoration.
How to play my own guitar. He told me like why my guitar was so great and I should get one. And I was like, I know, I have had it for like 5 years. Anyway, that's my frustration. But
wow.
The one thing I've learned the most is that it's like, if you can find your allies, the guys who are not like that, and the girls or any, whoever who are supportive, who just want to make music and make you feel good and like connect, Those are who you want to hang with. And also, like, if you get your skills down and you can outplay anybody and be an undeniable player and person to hang with and overall like good time, there's no reason to have, there's no issue. Like, you just got to find the good people and be confident in yourself in your own way. Like, that's how I feel. As soon as I kind of just honed in on like practicing and like feeling really strong about my playing, what I'm trying to say musically, then it just completely gets rid of that whole other side of it.
You just drop philosophy like life bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's literally the philosophy for life. Just do what you do the best, and your vibe will attract your tribe, and everything will align. And that's that, straight like that, you know. But for real, I want to swerve to Madam Fraankie. How do you feel about, that same question? How do you feel about being a female identifying artist in the music industry? How has that been for you?
I think for me, it's like, it's empowering. I think folks don't know what to expect. And like, I get stage fright a lot. So it's like, if I remove myself and just think about the little girl that like what I would have wanted to see, and I can just live in the empower like feeling. Like, I would love to see a woman on stage playing with confidence and just doing their thing. So it's empowering. I've been lucky enough to be in an environment that I don't have too much back and forth. My back and forth experience is like being in music stores, like the same with Julia was talking about, like folk be like, do you know how to tune your guitars? Like, I've been doing this literally for like 20 something years, like, or like, can you play this? Or like, just like talking to me, like, can you play this? What are you talking about? So stuff like that. But in terms of like in the work field, I've been lucky enough to not have like too much issue in that space.
I know I'm going to speak for myself and let me know if you can identify, but I feel like as a Black woman, I'm always assumed to be the person that knows the least in the room, when oftentimes I'm often the person who knows the most in the room. And a lot of the times people assume that when it comes to like music and instruments, like they look at me and I don't know what they think. I don't know what they think, because that ain't what they think ain't my issue. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times they make like these low vibrational assumptions. And like, when I say I play guitar, I don't know, like it's always just this like, or whenever I say I do anything, it's always like, you can feel the doubt, and you can feel like just the lack of belief. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and a lot of the times I get to a point where I'm like, yo, I'm too old to be out here proving to you through conversation, like actions literally speak louder than words. And like you say, you can outplay anybody in the room. If you can just be you and do you. Like, you don't have to try and prove yourself to those people, because those people will fade into the background, because that's all they are extras in the scene, and we're the stars. So we continue to shine, and they just fade away like the little fades that they are. You know what I'm saying? And literally they fade away, and you find more people who are like you. Like, this is evidence right here. Shouts out to Gabby and the team. And it's just, you just continue to find your people. You continue to find who you are, and cream rises, you know what I'm saying? And you just continue to float to the top. And just like Peter Pan and what is the name? Tinkerbell, you get sprinkled with that fairy dust, and you think lovely thoughts, and you fly away. You know what I'm saying? You think lovely thoughts. I want to ask you, young ladies, number one, I'm sorry, I apologize if you don't like to be called lady. Young women, young people, young humans, all of you, you know what I mean? All of us. You said, I'm sorry?
Oh, we don't mind. We don't mind.
Alrighty, yes, most definitely. So you beautiful young individuals, I want to ask you, what extent have you experienced the music industry? To what extent have you experienced right now? And have you dealt with any of those issues? Or how do you feel about being female identifying artists in the music industry? From what you've done so far?
Sorry, you guys are cutting out a little bit, but I feel that like we're just a little bit. Wait, can you guys hear us? Oh, okay.
We can hear you.
Okay,
Can
sorry,
you?
just cut out for a second. I feel like we're just little like babies right now, like just scratching like the surface or like the tip of the iceberg for like a really like a really big and like wide community, but there definitely like has been some instances where like the only thing on the top of my head is that like people assuming that this is piano, that I didn't know where the volume thing was and how to turn on a piano when I was doing it. I was like, seriously, like that is like the most like basic thing. And I think it's just little assumptions, and like lack of words for like you said, like actions that have really just shown like us a little bit of that other side, you know? And yeah. Yeah.
You know, you all have a unique experience. You have a super dope, you have a dope advantage. I feel like throughout my journey of life and pursuit of musical happiness, I was always looking for a partner. I was always looking for a friend to do it with. And I think a lot of us feel that way. I mean, you know, no man is an island, you know, but at the same time, you all have the ability to not only have a built-in friend, but your sisters that actually want to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Oh no, I'm frozen again. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't see it.
Oh no, not Elsa. I'm Elsa.
It's not too bad of a frame.
How about now?
Okay.
Still frozen. For
Oh,
me.
I'm still frozen?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm Olaf. All right. No, I'm Olaf. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the my internet connection seems to be strong, but I'll keep it moving. Y'all can hear me. My voice is carrying. So, all righty. But you have the ability to really be with your friend in the music industry, and you have someone that wants to do the same thing. So what you guys have to do is make sure that you always take that into account, and never let anyone try and divide you. Never let anyone try and separate you, because anyone that comes through in your life and tries to separate you, they don't mean anything good for you. You know what I mean? Because unity, there's strength in unity, and there's strength in being able to have someone that you can confer with about things and make decisions with. You know, just always value one another's opinion, always listen to one another, and just really, because you're gonna encounter so many different things on this path of that you're on, and the biggest thing that you have to remember is to always respect each other. I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
you are back.
You're a little bit back. It's all right. But yeah.
I'm a little bit back. It's all good. I just gotta make sure I stay smiling when I'm talking so I don't go crazy.
Yeah, like the
But yeah,
reason that, oh sorry,
Make-
I cut you off again.
No, go ahead.
The reason that we became a band actually was because we started off as like just guitaring, but in like the school setting and like like trying to get people and get a whole bunch, like a band together basically. And the thing is that we didn't see that a lot of the commitment that we wanted to see that we had. And so we were always like setting up rehearsals and like being like, oh, hey guys, remember to blah, blah, blah. When we'd get people like not showing up or like showing up late and stuff like that. And so we were like, let's just be the band. Let's just be the band and just do this ourselves because we're always together anyway. So we're like, big brain. we're like, let's stick together because we're roommates anyway. So yeah, that's how we started the band, embracing that together.
That's it. And don't look back. Anybody that's gonna come, they're gonna come on their own. They'll stick on their own. But you two just move forward, put the pedal to the metal and go. That's it. You got all you need right there, man. I can't even express it to you enough. I mean, even all of us who are individuals, but a lot of times, so you'll have people when it comes down to certain dynamics in bands. I never really experienced it in a band, in a rock band, but I definitely experienced it in my rap group days, trying to form groups with people. There's so many different energies that come about, especially when you are a woman and you're doing well. I know I've been in groups with dudes, and often my bars are harder. I can't help it, you know. It's God. He gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? He gave it to me. I'm gonna shine this little light of mine. But anywho, yeah, like often, you know, you do something well, and it's just like Julia was saying, it's like, yeah, the haters will be there, but if you just keep doing it well, the people that are meant to find you will find you, and it'll be that, and that'll be it. But in the meantime, you got to get away, because those haters, rather than let you shine, like rather than you make it and shine, they'll do anything to hold you back, even if it means sabotaging themselves. They'll become kamikaze pilots. Like all of a sudden, like, bro, you rather crash into me rather than let me fly. You gonna crash and kill you too? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's best that you just, you know, keep moving how you're moving, because people, when it comes down to human nature and the things that people prize and value, it will creep you out on this thing of life, man. And I don't know everything, that no one does. It doesn't come with a manual life, you know what I mean? Yeah, it comes with some books, some religious books, and some other types of texts that can kind of guide you and put you in the right steps and all that. But for the most part, you have to figure it out as you go. And the biggest thing you have to use is your mind's eye. You have to use your brain. You have to use your heart. You have to use your spirit to discern a lot of things. And in this industry, it could be a lot for a woman to navigate. But we're at a point now where you don't have those gatekeepers that used to dangle the keys. Those keys don't have as much, they don't have as much weight to them anymore. The jangalang ain't jangalanging, because they don't really open too many doors, those keys nowadays. Like, you have the ability, those guitars, this laptop, this internet, the world is yours. You know what I mean? So they can't hold you back. So I want to switch gears for a little bit. Do you think the industry places a certain level of pressure or expectation on female artists? I'm gonna circle back around to you, Julia. Do you feel like that? I mean, I think we kind of covered that when we said that, you know, we oftentimes feel like we have to be, I know as a Black woman, we often have to be the one, like, because often they don't know any other Black woman that does this, or they don't know any other woman that does this. So you have to be exceptional, because if you're not exceptional, then, oh, you represent every other person that will ever come before you or come after you. And now, you know, so you always have to kind of like, do you feel like that pressure as a woman in the industry? Like, or do you feel like, or as you embark further on this path, do you feel like you have to really carry that torch so high so that the people following you can see the path behind you?
Yeah, I think, like you said, there's definitely a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of kind of norms in the industry that people like to stick to. I honestly think it's just because of history, or, you know, people like to have something to grab onto, not necessarily as like a hard and fast rule, like, oh, someone has to act a certain way. I think we've seen a lot of artists in the past couple of years do stuff that's like very different, and then just run with it and their fans follow. I guess like what would be nice to see, which I think, like I was saying before, already seeing it, is that like when the industry decides to promote something, when they see a demand for more diverse artists or voices being, wanting to be heard or seen, it's like when that's promoted, audiences follow, and what's put in front of them, I think, is often well received when it's spread to the right audience and a widespread group of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that yes, there is pressure, but at the same time, it's like if you have a vision, if you have a sound, a brand, a look, your own thing, and you just keep running with it, like in a very, distinct and kind of confident way, it will catch on. And the industry, like the audience, definitely kind of dictates what the industry does to some extent. I mean, obviously it's kind of like, it's obviously a cycle and they feed each other, but I think there's opportunity for everything. And, it's obviously harder for certain people to kind of break through when the industry has certain pressures of like a look or a sound. And like definitely in the past, wanting women to have like either kind of like a sex sells perspective or like a kind of girl next door type thing, like all those stupid cliches and tropes or whatever. I think we're kind of breaking away from that, and it's catching on to kind of just have a thing that people like, if that makes sense. It's a little bit of
it's definitely making sense. It's coming full circle, because as I look at your influences, Erykah Badu, Stevie Nicks, two people who I truly, 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 truly love, especially Stevie Nicks. And I think if you look at the past, I don't know when we got to this place where everyone became clones, but there was a point in music where women were so different. You know, I can name, like you said, you can say Stevie Nicks, Pat Benatar, and Joan Jett, and Shaka Khan, and you know, Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane. You name all of these dominant women. Oh my God, Janis Joplin. I'm sorry. I never forget you. You know what I mean? Like all of these different people, you know, then you take it to the 90s and you got, you know, Gwen Stefani, then you got the Spice Girls, but then you got Missy Elliott, but then you got Little Kim, and all these people who just had, I believe it was, I don't remember who said it earlier, but we were talking about the energies of these. I think it was you, Madam Fraankie. You were saying like you're influenced by these different artists and their different energies. And every woman that we named earlier, I just named us. I can go on and on. I literally could go on and on about all of the vastly different, you know, female influences that were once, you know, celebrated. And then we got to this point, like I said, the industry started industrying, and it got to a point where they just started putting out like, oh, this was successful. Let's make more. Let's make more. You know what I mean? They started putting them out. And now we've come back to a point where, like you said, individuals are winning again. You know, individuals are starting to take shape because of the ability to, yes, you kind of follow what the audience dictates, but at the same time, like, no, I'm going to do me. And you do what you're doing enough to the point where it catches on. And now, you know, that's the wave. Like it's literally like standing in a pool and creating the wave, pushing like I'm the wave now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the wave and I'm the way to do it. So I totally agree with that. And I'm excited to see, you know, everything that comes about. Good luck on all of your endeavors and everything you're working on. I know that we'll continue to see you in the future. And I'm very excited for the energy that you're contributing and for the little girls who will be looking up to you not very soon, but who are currently, and the little girls who will be looking up to you most definitely. Madam Fraankie, how do you feel? Do you feel that women are held to a higher standard, that we have to be, you know, that we have to be better than the average guy, or how do you feel?
Oh yeah, I think for sure. It's the same like going to the store. Not only do I need to match the way you play, but I have to play better, because it's always like whatever I do is reduced. Like, so if I'm shredding, I'm not shredding fast enough, or so for sure. I think to touch on a little bit what Julie was talking about, though, I think, or somebody was saying, but just like, I think there's pressure. I feel less pressure now, I'll say, because it seems like we now have better access to like finding your own lane. So it's like, if you're looking for shredding, you can get that over there. Like before, it seemed very much like you learn how to play guitar and then your final goal is shredding. If you ain't shredding, you slow.
Yeah. People I used to feel the same way, you know, when playing, because I love the blues. It's just what I like. I don't know. I pick up the guitar and I want to play licks, or I want to just do that. And I would go, and you have like these people doing all this jazz fusion and they moving up and down the fretboard. You have like, you said like people shredding and doing all those things. I'm like, well, and if you couldn't do that, like, oh, well, you really can't play. But yes, I can. I could play what I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is me. This is where I am. Like you said, this is my lane. You know what I'm saying? And I'm maintaining my lane. I ain't swerving. I'm just doing what I'm doing, you know? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where nowadays, I think it's a beautiful thing that we have the ability to see, because we kind of curate our own programs now. You know, this is another thing I was telling my kids earlier. I swear to goodness, divine. Everything is aligned. It's all divine. I literally was telling my kids this earlier. I was like, I said, I come from an era where you had to be home by a certain time so you could watch your show. Because if you missed your show, you missed your show. And you had to be home by a certain time so you could be on the phone with your homie, because you got to be off the phone by a certain time. Now, you can be anytime. You can watch what you want anytime. The programming is like, it's just literally, it's yours for the taking, it's yours for the making, but it's also a gift and a curse. Because just like you can do whatever you want at all times, they can't reach you at all times. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't. Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. What the heck? Must be the rain around here. Sorry. But anywho, yeah, with that being said, it's just it's a very interesting time that we're in. And I really want everyone here to flourish and thrive and know that everything that you want just keep paying attention to it. Keep depositing that attention in your piggy bank. You know what I'm saying? Don't pay attention to anybody else but you, literally. And with my daydreams, I'm really excited for you all. When do you graduate high school? You said this is your last year?
Yeah, we graduate end of the year.
Hey, turn up.
And what are your plans for post-graduation?
We're gonna go into music production, Bachelor of Music. So yeah.
What institution?
JMC Academy. So it's just it's a big music university here in Australia.
Yeah, put me on. That's what I'm saying. You got to educate me. I want to know. I want to know it all. Oh, yeah. Well, all I want to say is when you go to school, it's going to be the best time of your life. I'm saying because, you know, you're going to be doing what you love and just make the most of it. Make sure, you know, humans are resources. That's why they have the term human resource. So make sure you take advantage of all of your resources, be they human, be they whatever the library has to office, whatever studio equipment they have. Just do what you can and do the most. And make sure you just network with everybody there so that they could be watching you, whether they loving or hating. Make sure they watching. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have very much time. I want to make sure that I thank all of you for really making my day today and giving me the opportunity to speak with you and really get to experience such wonderful individuals. And each of you are impacting the world in such a terrific way. And trust, you may not see it tomorrow, you may not see it today, but the influence you're leaving is gargantuan, and you will continue to be huge influences in your life and in the lives of others. And I want to thank you for your time, definitely.
Thank you. Amazing host.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, most def. I said when you see me in your follows, I'm gonna be following all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying. I just want to keep in tune, stay in tune, so that I can be on the groove with you. I just want to groove with you. Alrighty. But I don't know how I'm supposed to wrap it up. I think I don't know how I'm supposed to, but I think I'm just gonna wait for Danica to pull back up, or do I just end it? I don't know.
So typically Gabby's the one that closes out, but I think she's still busy with some other topics. So I'll just come in and close out. So thank you everyone for coming in today and having such a dynamic and powerful discussion. I'm just sitting here like, you know what? I do need to do more with my piano. Maybe I need to be out on these piano streets on the internet.
Pay attention to you.
That way. So thank you all so much for coming, and we're hoping to see you again in a future session. I know that Gabby is working with Guitar Girl magazine on some features that they have going on this year. So hopefully we get to kind of touch back with y'all on those specific topics. So thank y'all, and everyone have a good night.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you.